Good evening, aspirants and my dear students. Welcome to today's session. And today I am going to decode something very important, the art of persuasion. This art of persuasion has been always, something which everybody want to learn. Today, I'm not going to give you the art of persuasion in terms of persuading people behind you, but we will be checking that how to catch the reading comprehension in our competitive exams. So the reading comprehension in our competitive exam, they have been using the persuasive passages like anything in the recent times. So that's why I've thought of coming up with this particular session in which I will be talking about these things: ethos, pathos, and logos, the three most important tools for persuasion. So be with me and let's begin the session and let's try to understand that why they are important. The very first point that it is important because it will help you to decode the author's intent, which is bound to come in your exam. It will also help you to identify tone and bias of the particular passage, and it will help you to spot the assumptions. Assumption-based questions are always there in the exam. You will also be benefited for answering the inference-based questions faster and more accurate. And you will also be able to avoid the traps given in the different options. Now, what are these persuasive appeals and from where it has come? So it has come from a philosopher known as Aristotle. So Aristotle has given us these three tools called as ethos, pathos, and logos. So broadly, if you want to remember that what they stand for, I'll give you a trick. So ET, ethos, if you focus on ET, this gives us the word ethics. So any particular passage which is using a lot of ethics in it to create credibility is called ethos. That means the passage is using ethos in it. Then pathos, remember the first two letters of this, and this stands for what? Passion. And if any of the passage is tapping your emotions, anyway, they are tapping your emotion, that means the passage is using pathos. And if LO, if it is using logic, lot of statistics, data, numbers are there to figure out and to produce logic in the passage, that means the passage is using logos. I'm going to elaborate it a little, but every CLAT argument passage is using either one of these or maybe all of them in a particular passage. So that's why understanding them is very, very important. Now, let me elaborate the first one in a little detail, that is ethos. So what is ethos? Ethos, remember, credibility. How the credibility is developed in the passage when the author's trustworthiness is put down in the particular passage. You will find that, okay, somebody who's writing is an expert of that particular thing. Somebody whose writing is quite experienced of that particular thing. He has the authority to write that, and he has the ethical positioning. Let me say that if Sachin Tendulkar writes a paragraph on nutrition and sports, the benefits of sports, I think we will believe it better than anybody who's not into sports. A lawyer writing about sports, probably we will not believe in that particular passage. But if a sports person is writing something about sports and nutrition, we will believe that very easily. So that is what we call as ethos. Example, a constitutional scholar with 20 years of experience is saying so and so, blah, blah, blah. So that means here what we see is that this particular sentence has created ethos. And when you read this, you automatically think that, okay, this is somebody who knows about the topic. So we believe this thing. So that's how the ethos is created in the passage. And looking at the second most important tool, and probably every poetry, every poem uses this. When it taps your passion, when it taps your emotions, so we call it pathos. Pathos, remember, PA stands for passion. So anybody who's using emotional appeal to convince you, to pursue you. See, this is what we are studying. We are studying the art of persuasion. So if you do not have that level of credibility, you don't know the topic, that well, probably, and you cannot convince your audience that you are the expert of that particular topic, how would you do? You will try to make the audience very emotional towards the particular topic so that you can pursue them towards an opinion or something. So that's what we see. Either we create a fear in them that if you cut down trees, you will die. There will be no oxygen. We'll all die because of the lack of water or something. Or we create some hope that if we grow trees, the world is going to be very beautiful. And either we create some kind of anger among the people that it's the responsibility, it's for your future, it's for the posterity, for the coming generation. That's very, very important, keeping up the trees or something like that. Or otherwise, we create sympathy that, there are certain people and they have been bearing 45-degree Celsius temperature because people cut down trees or something like that. Or otherwise, you create the moral outrage among the people. Let's take an example. Millions suffer silently while policymakers look away. So policymakers are looking away and millions are suffering. So what is happening? We are exaggerating. We usually see that whenever an author is using pathos, he uses the technique of the literary device of exaggeration, hyperbole. We call it hyperbole. And that turns out to be the tool for pathos. So remember pathos, passion. Anybody who's tapping your passion to convince you towards something, that's what pathos is all about. Let me give you an example. Suppose I want to convey that save water. That's what my agenda is. That's what my claim is. Save water. So I can simply say that as an environmentalist, I find that we have very less potable water available on Earth. So it's very important that we should not waste water. What I'm doing as an environmentalist or something. So that means I'm using ethos. But the same thing I can convey and pursue you towards saving water by saying like this. Listen now. So there is this small girl, 9-year-old, and she has to carry a bucket full of water and she has to walk 9 kilometers to bring a bucket full of potable water at home. Now, what is happening? You are imagining a very young, small girl carrying a heavy bucket full of water bringing home. So what I'm doing, I'm tapping your emotions. I'm trying to bring that passion, emotional appeal, and convincing you. That's why let's save water or something like that. Now, the third tool is logos. Very important, and you will find it in abundance in your comparative exam. Whenever the passages are written and the author wants to convince you towards an idea or something, he would prefer to use logos over pathos and ethos. Why? Because this means reasoning and evidence. He would give you an evidence. Evidence will be in the form of what? Numbers, in the form of stats, or maybe in some other form, taking some examples or taking some evidence. He would create logos in the passage. So data will be there, facts will be there, stats will be there, cause and effect reasoning and comparisons will be there. For example, look at it over here. Studies show that 40% drop in pollution after regulation. So regulations are implied and then there is a 40% drop in the pollution. So this is what the authors prefer to do, that they know that if I give them data, if I give them numbers, so people will be convinced to follow something. So this is what logos is all about. Now, how these three things are important and why I'm talking about these three appeals and these three tools which the author uses in the passages. And when you get to know about these three tools, so you read a passage and you figure it out, oh, the author is using ethos over here. No, the author is not using ethos, but he's using pathos. Oh, he's not using pathos and ethos. In fact, the author is using what? Logos over here. So how it's going to help us? Uh, First of all, let's take a quick comparison table of these three. I have explained them in detail. So ethos create trust among the audience, pathos create emotion, and logos create logic in the mind of the audience. And how it persuades, believe me, it says feel this, and The logo says that understand this with the help of statistics and a logic given over there. How this helps us? First of all, let's try to see that whatever you've listened for the last 10 minutes, whether you gathered it or not. So I am pretty sure that you want to test that on yourself. So I have one small paragraph with me. You can, look at the particular paragraph, read it quickly, and let me know if you are with me right now. You can put it in the chat that after reading it, where is ethos? After reading this, where is pathos? And after reading this, where is logos? So you can pause the video, you can read this, and then you can resume the video, because I'm going to reveal that where ethos is, where pathos is, and where logos is present in this small paragraph. All right, ethos. So let me read this paragraph for you. Doctors warn that ignoring rising pollution levels will endanger future generations. Full stop. Recent studies show a 25% increase in respiratory illness in urban children. Full stop. It is irresponsible for governments to delay action any further. Right. So where is ethos? As soon as I use the term doctors. So this says that we need to believe it. Doctors warn, not some random Tom, Dick, or Harry, or a random person is warning. It's the doctors are warning this thing. Now, where is pathos? I can see, respiratory illnesses in urban children. Why urban children? You could have written urban people or something like that. So bringing children makes pathos over there, that making you a little emotional, thinking that children are getting affected by this thing. And where is logos present over here? As soon as you see this number over here, recent studies show a 25% increase. We become very logical. It fits in our mind that out of 100, it's 25 people. So here we see logos. So a very subtle way to figure out that where is ethos, where is pathos, and where is logos present in the passage. Now, what kind of mistakes you people do? What kind of mistakes we do as a student? So first of all, students generally confuse emotions with opinion. It's just an emotion. It's not an opinion. It's basically the author is using this particular tool to make you convinced towards a particular opinion or something like that. And missing subtle ethos cues. Ethos means that you need to check that the author is presenting very strong credibility. So that means that can be used as a very strong fact and a reasoning for the particular claim the author is raising over there. Treating emotional lines as evidence, that is just to move you, that is just to make you emotional. That's not a fact. That's probably an evidence. That's probably just a supporting element, but not an evidence until or unless it's a logos. Over interpreting logos, thinking that, okay, this logos, can I actually try to compare it? Do I bring my knowledge? Do I bring my data? And then I try to compare it? No, whatever is written over there, take it at the face value, and that's it. Lastly, ignoring bias in persuasive writing. Authors can be very biased. It can be as biased as that the author may say that the earth is flat. So do not bring your argument, I'm sorry, over there. You need to agree with that. Look at that, what kind of appeal he's using it, what kind of tool he's using it to explain you, to make you convinced that earth is flat. Is he bringing any logos, logic? Is he bringing any ethos? Is he a kind of a traveler or geologist, or who he is? Or otherwise see that passion that, people from time immortal have been believing this thing, and the scriptures say this. So that means what is bringing? He's trying to tap your emotions over here. So once again, the three appealing tools you should be very clear with, so that you don't fall for these mistakes. Ethos, pathos, logos in multiple choice questions. CLAT questions often ask, what is the author's purpose? The claim. You can easily recognize the claim, that what is his purpose, by probably going by what is the appealing tool he is using in that. What assumption is required? strengthen, weakens the argument, and what tone does the author use? So I will be talking about them in the next particular slide. Persuasive appeals make these things very easy. How? Let's look at that. So how to spot appeals quickly? First of all, look for who is speaking. You'll figure it out whether there is ethos or not. Look for feelings. Are there any feelings, emotions, sympathy? Pathos is there. Then look for the facts. Are there any stats given over there? Are there any numbers given over there? Is there any data given over there? That means logos is there. So the 3-second scan improves speed. I have always talked about skimming. I've always talked about taking a glimpse, and that's definitely going to help you to understand that which particular tool is there. So I can see how to focus, how to improve focus while reading. Whenever I read, my mind focus on uh, many things which end up not understanding passage, ending with a lot of confusion. I think this is Akshay. Akshay, the idea is it's difficult to increase focus. I have talked about it. If you go to the channel and you will see, I have made a video called as Read Fast for CLAT. In that, I have decoded that because we don't have that strong focus for 20 minutes, 30 minutes, we have a focus of 7 minutes or 5 minutes. It is important that you increase your speed of reading. So if you have a focus of 5 minutes, what if you are able to finish your reading and the questions in 5 minutes, your accuracy will improve. So do not think of, increasing your focus as of now. Just think of wrapping it up, quickly attempting it within the time limit. Give yourself a time limit of 5 minutes or 6 minutes or perhaps 7 minutes so that your accuracy improves. And trust this particular methodology. Be with me, do it for the next 5, 6, 7 passages. I promise you that the 8th or the 9th passage, you will feel more comfortable and your accuracy will improve. The only problem is people don't try it. And even if they try it only once or twice or thrice. Consistency. Put your trust in me. Put your trust in this methodology and try that. I hope that I've answered you, Akshay. Right. Okay, let's continue. So this 3-second scan, I've always talked about the 3-step reading. That is, you take a glimpse and then you skim your passage and then you actually fast read. So glimpse, it takes less than 5 seconds. Skim, it takes 10 seconds. And then probably when you read, you will be able to read those 300 to 400 words in less than 3 minutes. You have ample of time to go by your questions and their options and mark the answers accurately. Seriously. Now, moving ahead, can it also help us to figure out the tone? Yes, it does help us to figure out tone, and the tone-based question, the expectation in our exam, very high. The tone-based questions, we do expect. Tone often emerges from pathos. The author, if you look at that, where are the passion, where are the pathos present in the passage, you will see that whether the tone is critical or alarmist or optimistic or cautionary. This is a positive tone, a bit of negative, bit of negative, bit of negative. So at least you will see the tone that, okay, whatever, pathos the author is using in the passage, whether it's falling towards the negative side or the positive side. So ethos, if is there, the author is presenting some kind of credibility and using logic over there. Usually it creates a very analytical tone because the author is an expert of something and he's bringing logic. So that means he's analyzing something on the basis of his personal knowledge. He's making you pursue towards an opinion or something. So the tone is usually very analytical or maybe alarmist or something like that. Yes, beta. Please do apply this for the next 7 days and come back to the video which I'm talking about. Read fast for CLAT and you will get very subtle, tips and tricks in that. And then probably you can let me know that what kind of problems you're facing. I'm always here for your help, son. All right, moving ahead. Bias and appeal. Do we see bias and appeals? Yes, if the passages are persuasive, we do see what I have seen in my experience in the last 5 to 6 years since 2020. I pick up any paper, whether I pick up the paper of NLSAT or CLAT or IPMAT or CUET or whatever. What I have seen that the testing authorities, they have been including A lot of persuasive passages with very strong bias coming from the author's side. And now what is happening is the author's bias is there, your personal bias is there, and that's conflicting. And now you're marking the options incorrectly. So bias often hides inside what? Passion, pathos, because the author is being quite emotional and making you follow towards his opinion. So one-sided framing is there, emotional exaggeration is there, dismissing opposing view with the use of bias, with the use of pathos. I have been living blah, blah, blah. He's not giving a credibility that what he is, but he has been experiencing it. But that's just one person experiencing it. We need a bigger data. So that's what we call as bias. So if I say that, I know that living in South Asia is a little difficult because of the high temperature over there. So it's my opinion, right? It's my strong bias. There, I need a bigger data about it. So if you are not from such high temperature area, you would be in the conflict with the author's opinion or something like that. So that's what we call as pathos. When I say that living in South Asia is very difficult because of the high temperatures, whenever I'm there, I've seen people burning their skin. So I've met many people. I've met a young girl of 10 years age, skin burned. So what I'm doing, I'm putting that impression in your mind that a young girl, 10 years old, has a skin burn. So I'm trying to convince you that, oh, it's actually bad to go there, right? So this is what we call as the bias and the appeal. Now you would find these kind of questions that's called as strengthening, weakening, the one dreaded part of our critical reasoning questions in our comparative exams. You pick up any exam. Now, can you believe that understanding ethos, pathos, logos can also help you to attempt these questions with high accuracy? How? So to strengthen your conclusion or your assumption, what you have to do is just add more logical statements, either from the passage or from yourself. You need to add some facts, the ones with the logic, the ones with the logos in it. And if you want to weaken it something, look for the option which is challenging the ethos, which is challenging the credibility of the author or the passage, and reduces pathos. If something is reducing pathos, that is also weakening the particular conclusion or the assumption or probably the passage. This is a powerful, very powerful CLAT hack. Okay, moving ahead, assumption identification. Oh my God, can it also help us to identify assumption? The one thing which students are thinking that, oh, somebody please come and help me, figuring it out assumptions. I have been so much troubled that I'm not able to figure out the difference between inference and assumption, because Ishwar sir tells that every assumption is an inference, but not every inference is an assumption. Now, I'm leaving you with this particular statement. Let's see that whether you can figure it out or not. Let me repeat it again. Every assumption is an inference, whereas not every inference is an assumption. So if you'll not understand this, drop me a message. I will reply to your chat in the chat itself. But right now, try to understand that the assumption identification is quite easy when you look at ethos, pathos, logos, because if the ethos is there, that means expert is trustworthy. So the passage is assuming, and the reader has to assume that the author is trustworthy. If the pathos are there, emotion is relevant to the claim. So this is to the claim. The claim can be anything. Let me give you an example. The claim is globalization is bad for developing countries. I can come up with ethos when I say that I am an economist. I can come up with a pathos that third world countries or developing countries are losing on the living standard or something like that. And I can use logos where I will provide an evidence of, let's say, Sri Lanka, India, or any developing country that their GDP has reduced or something like that. Their indigenous producers are suffering like anything. Okay, that can be put over here also, by the way, right? So students must check these hidden beliefs given over there to figure out what is the correct assumption. Now, before wrapping it up, final takeaway of this session is that what is ethos? I hope by now you know that ET, ethics, trust. Pathos, P-A, passion, emotion. Logos, L-O, logic, and data, numbers, evidence. So master these and you can easily master your CLAT reading comprehension. What to practice after this session? It is mandatory because this session is not going to be that fruitful if you would not do this. So you've spent around what, 15, 20 good minutes in listening to me. Now, please pick up one of the editorial, try to find out the appeal in that. Opinion column or a policy debate or a legal commentary. Focus on identifying persuasive appeal. What kind of persuasive appeal? Trust me, you will feel very good. You will feel very confident about yourself if you will just pick anyone from the newspaper, from anywhere, and you try this particular methodology. Trust me, guys, if you join our learning ecosystem, it's an amazing ecosystem. You will be able to get a daily Hindu analysis every day, 8 a.m. Sir goes online, picks up the most important, I think, 3 to 5 news, and it really covers up every aspect of journal knowledge, whether it's static or it's current. And we have, if you go by the website, you will see the sidebar GK tool. Amazing, amazing tool it is. You will get 5 picked up news, hand-picked news, and you read those news. And then there is a quiz, 25 question-based quiz over there. Your dose for the journal knowledge is all covered for the whole day. So you just need to spend what, 10, 15 minutes over there. Mock tracker, take a mock. You want to take a mock from NLTI, you want to take a mock from anywhere, attempt it, put it in our mock tracker system. You will be able to see, you will be able to gauge your effort. Where do you stand today in your preparation journey? You will join a Telegram and you will get regular updates, and you will also get good questions over there. WhatsApp group is also there. YouTube channel. Right now we are conducting this particular session. We have beautiful sessions like these in our YouTube channel, and Instagram really helps you to improve your GK. With this, I hope that you have benefited, understanding that, persuasion, it is something very sought after. The art of persuasion is really very important. And I believe you will follow this art of persuasion and you will make your reading comprehension more and more accurate and fast. With this, I take your leave. Thank you so much for watching and take good care from NLTI. Thank you. Bye-bye. Keep smiling.